you will hear people saying this is net, this is the way we listen. Mean people asking you to assimilate indirectly. It's something indirect that I say, okay, this is net. It's brought by. You have to live like that. But sometimes you have to go and find other people and say, oh, you have to be who you are. And it's a kind of clash. And you live with this every day. We are living in an individualistic society. In this, we are coming from what collectivist. Collectivist is society. So here what you have to do is just adapt. And this is what I did. Adapt myself to find my way. I didn't want to confront or I didn't want to assimilate. I want to integrate. And for me, my integration is to adapt myself to this new culture, to this new society. And when you live in this society, you can move forward without any problem. You will hear people saying, okay, and you see this in many companies, we are diverse. And when people are saying we are diverse, it's about numbers. It's only about numbers. But when you see how people are moving, which kind of behavior people are showing, gedrag, as usually said, and you see the other gedrag, and it's not only diversity. So it's like, okay, we do have 5 people with refugee background, or we do have 2 people who are homosexual, we do have 8 women in a kind of number, but we have to live it. And this is where I think the struggle is.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of Opinions and Perspectives. And today I'm happy to receive Ewing Amadi Salumu. Did I pronounce it well?
Yeah, you present it well. I'm very happy to be here today in your studio, a big studio.
Who are you for people who are discovering you now?
I'm a Congolese, and 15 years ago, I came here as a journalist. I was a reporter at the International Criminal Court where I was reporting on an issue on the conflict in Congo. But as there was a trial of Lubanga, but also of Jean-Pierre Bemba, so I was directly sent here to report on this.
You also work with different newcomers to the Netherlands.
I usually help newcomers to find their place in this country. As you know, when you come here, you don't have everything at the beginning. And it is always good to know people who can help you, not only to settle, but to help you find your way. Most of the time is going again to education, because education is a key. What I usually do is just giving some advices, give orientations, and give some perspective on how to live in this country and be more open to the future.
Yeah, that is very interesting because it goes back to the topic that we are covering in the past episodes, and that is about cultural identity. What is cultural identity in your perspective?
It's too big.
When
you talk about identity, you think about unity. You think about people. Think about connection. You think about how people are connected. And it's so large that you cannot just stay in one place. There is culture, and then there are norms, there are values. So it's almost difficult when you're coming in a country where people talk about identity and there is no identity. And then it's become a trouble for you. Because you are coming, you are Moshi, for example. This is just in one part of the Congo, for example, and you come here, and not only coming here as a Mushi, there are Murega who coming with a normal identity. And when you're coming here from Congo, we do not have one identity. It's a big, it's cosmopolitan. So it's
very mosaic.
It's a mosaic of culture. It's a mosaic of identity. And then you come in a country where there is also no identity. And there is only what Herman Play present as a historical mentality. The historical mentality is just they're thinking how the EU, for example, how they fought against water, how, so you think from the 16th century
Yeah.
to 19th century is just an interaction of things.
Yeah.
And what you also see in this country that there is a goal for people just coming,
Different movements of people.
different movements of people just coming in the Netherlands. So they are also in search of one identity. Today we see, for example, people thinking about Oranje House. So for us coming here when it's April, we see people just going. Yeah, we have
the
to
King's
go.
Day.
The King's Day. We have to go outside, but then again, it's almost complicated.
But so for yourself, experiencing that, because you come from a place where cultural identity is really there, present in the society, and people that they live with it, they experience it in their way of being and daily life, and you come to a place where you have, as you explained, a mosaic of cultures and backgrounds, people coming from different places around the world, and you find yourself in such community. How does it influence you, first in your own perspective and experience, and for other people? How do you see people are shaped by that difference?
Look, I think the first thing that you have to do is to adapt yourself. You don't have to judge people. You don't have to see your identity as the best identity. You have to give place to other culture and adapt. It's not good. I think that is my view, to confront or to fight against. You have to take what is good, and what you find is not good for you, you have to let it go, because this is our society. And there are one thing one principle that I usually hear in this country is live your life. If you live a religion, if you do have a religion, so you have to believe in God and then live your religion, your own. It's your own religion, and we are living in a individualistic society. In this, we are coming from what collectivist society. So here what you have to do is just adapt. And this is what I did. Adapt myself to find my way. I didn't want to confront, or I didn't want to assimilate. I want to integrate. And for me, my integration is to adapt myself to this new culture, to this new society. And when you live in this society, you can move forward without any problem.
How do you deal with cultural shocks? Because cultures here, they're not the same, as you explain, to your own culture.
This is a good question. When it comes to culture shock, you will find that there are things that are not meet your expectations. And I found also that there are things that I didn't meet my expectations. And what I did is just look my way, adjust. And the adaptation was not easy. It took years, but I should find myself and move forward. I was working with many white people from my country, and when I came here, I was just working with them in a situation where I was. And when it comes to live that moment and live the life that I was living, it was like a burden that I have to take. But finally, I decided to forget something, to forget my past, and see things with more perspectives. Not just only living in the past, but living in the present and the future. This was the way that helped me to move forward.
And that is a good bridge to my next question. When it's come to integration, you have two approaches that countries they take. One being assimilation, meaning that they expect you to become what the culture is in your host country, and the other one being more open to diversity. And last time when I was discussing with Michelle, who is not here today, we discovered that the Dutch culture is more in that second perspective, where it is is more open to diversity, as you said, just open for you to be you and express your differences in unity that it creates. Do you think the same, that the Dutch culture is more open to diversity, or you think that it pushes more into assimilation?
I think this is good because you mentioned the 2 points, the 2 perspectives. What you know is that you will hear people saying this is net, this is the way we live. I mean, people asking you to assimilate indirectly. It's something indirect that I say, okay, this is net. It's horbij. You have to do. You have to live like that. But sometimes you have to go and find other people. Say, oh, you have to be who you are, and it's a kind of clash, and you live with this every day. You can meet people just saying, okay, you can be who you are, and you can also meet people just pushing you to become a Dutch with the way. If they eat at 6 o'clock, you have to eat at 6. So you have to follow how they are living. And Stamppot every day, for example, or for in the period of Stamppot. No, there are things that it's difficult to take.
Yeah.
Because I also have my way of living, my culture. But I think, for example, to be direct, yes, I have to take it. I have to be direct, because if you're not direct, stay there. If you don't take initiatives, you will stay behind. If you don't push, and sometimes they need people who are extrovert and not intro. If you are intro, for example, then you kill yourself. You have to go outside. You have to be extra. So you see, things are. We do have many things that we have to learn from them in order to find our way in this society. But there are also things that we don't have. I don't have. Should I say that we don't have to take? But it's just to respect.
Yeah, but it's a good point also. So in one sentence, you would say that the Dutch culture is in between assimilation and integration.
Always
diversity.
You will hear people saying, okay, and you see this in many companies, we are diverse.
Yeah.
And when people are saying we are diverse, it's about numbers.
Yeah.
It's only about numbers. But when you see how people are moving, which kind of...
In which way about numbers?
Yeah. In which kind of behavior people are showing. Gedrag, as usually say. Then you see the other, gedrag.
Yeah.
And it's not only diversity.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we do have 5 people with refugee background, or we do have 2 people who are homosexual. We do have 8 women.
Yeah.
In a kind of number, but we have to live it. And this is where I think the struggle is. This is the battle of the future.
You mean the substance is not taken into account? Like in that diversity?
Diversity is difficult.
Yeah.
Diversity, you will see it. It's the struggle in many companies in this country. I see the idea, I see the ambition, I see the need of many companies to be diverse, but at the end of the time, there is always clash.
Yeah. And how does it shape then what the person becomes once they integrate in the Netherlands?
When you are integrated, you live a life.
Yeah.
You do what you have to do.
Are you still Mushi? Are you still Congolese once integrated?
You are corrupt.
In which way?
You take new things in this society, and you are anymore the one
you used to be.
When you are here, the Direktheid, as people say, you are so too much direct. And when you talk to people back home, what's going on with you? Because this is it. So you will be fluent. You will talk about yourself, and people will not really take this. You will be mushy because you will still keep your language.
Yeah.
You're still mushy because you know how mushy are. You will eat mashanza, or you will be just looking where you can find buina, or you can find mutobe. But then again, when it's come to language, it will be difficult for you because your children will only speak, for example, Dutch. So you'll be in between. For you, the father, it'll be easy, but for them, it'll be
Yeah.
another story. So you have to adjust, adapt yourself every time.
And in that perspective, is it possible to transmit your culture to the next generation?
Yes,
How come is
you should have one day to talk about your culture. You should have one day to talk about your history, because if you lose, you will lose everything, and the next generation would not have only a clue of what you have been.
yeah.
So you're thinking about you today, but after 60 or 50 years, there will be another generation there. So if you don't transmit this, the transmission will not be there. So you have to talk. I usually learn from the Jewish community.
Yeah.
They had a time, they went through many things that wasn't good, but they had a time to keep the language, to keep the culture, and when they went back, it was easy for them to rebuild the country. But if you are not, if you don't have this possibility to talk about who you were, you'll be forgotten.
Yeah, because I've observed also a trend lately in African communities in Western countries. Let's say the Congolese community in France, in Belgium, or in the Netherlands, and you see like the young generation, they strive to get something from the old one. You would observe it in music, for example.
Yeah.
Now, before, like let's say 10 years ago or 5 years ago, in music, for example, it was only the Western music, but now they are trying to bring in some values from the Congolese culture, or you see in their way of expression. It's not anymore like I am French, I am Dutch, and I have nothing to know about Congo or Africa, but it is more like this new trend where everyone try to find their roots. And you also see it with celebrities who were born in America or everywhere around, like in Western countries. They try to find their roots in Africa. So, what do you think about that?
You only think about where you come from when you're struggling. It's a struggle
So
in the process.
it is an expression of struggle.
It's an expression of struggle. Why African American are willing to know where they're coming from? They went through slavery, and they find finally a time to settle to be the Americans. But sometimes okay, where can they didn't have things, and what they're doing is just find a DNA. It's just about DNA.
Yeah.
And after that, you find the DNA, so okay, then they go back. But when you talk about Congolese, and I say we do not have one identity, it's a mosaic of identity, and we usually refer to us as with musics.
Yeah.
The culture of Congo is not only about music; it's more
Yeah.
than that. So for the new generation, they saw how their fathers of mothers community was just struggling in Europe when it comes to paper, when it's come to many things. So they are trying to go back. So what is that country? But also, sorry, what is going on in the country today with the conflict. So they want to know what is going on there, why people are dying every day. So they want to understand the history of the country. They find music, they find musicians, and at the end of the time they say, "Oh, okay, this is where I'm coming from." That's why they're taking it. There's always some struggle, and there's our struggle from Congo in the conflict that is there.
Yeah.
If there was no conflict and everything was good, I don't think they will just need to perpetuate here to take everything
Yeah.
back.
But do you think that it is possible to preserve the culture? Because you said that once you integrate fully, you lose that aspect of you and you become corrupted in a certain way. So, do you think that there is a way to preserve some values from your culture, and how, if it's possible?
Talk.
Yeah.
You need to talk. You need to to stay in your community, you need to be in dialogue in your community and find a day where you can celebrate your culture in a way it should. For example, for people coming from the bushy, when it's a time of how do you call it again?
Lubanda.
Lulubanda. You have to show to the community how it is. When people are doing it in Ngweshe or in Kabare, you can do it here.
Yeah.
When people are doing in Idri, you can do it here. When for the Bandanda the same, and for other we have one community, the Baluba.
Yeah.
Everywhere they go, the children will speak the language.
Mm.
The children, they will dance their music.
Yeah.
Why? They keep it.
Yeah. So
Because
it's
you
a way
have
of preserving it.
That is the way of preserving it.
Yeah.
But you also have other families where parents deny this and say, I want you to integrate here. So
Yeah.
they try to block the language in order to help their children to find their way here. And
Yeah.
so
But
it
but
doesn't
then
help.
what does it mean for integration? Because you are or you came to a new country and you are welcomed.
Yeah.
So the expectation is that you it's like someone who welcome you at their place. They expect you to follow the rules of that place, right?
Yeah.
And the best way of showing them respect is to show that you are trying to learn and you show some interest in their way of being. So what does it say then if you preserve your own culture, your own way of being and everything from your community? What does it say for your ability to integrate in the new culture and your response to the welcome that you receive?
Preserving your culture doesn't mean that you will not take what is here. That's why I'm saying you are corrupt.
Yeah.
So it means you do have a culture of here, something from here, but you still have your culture. Because you came here with something, and you don't have to lose the something you have from your village or from your country. You have to keep both. You have to keep both. That's why I'm saying you are corrupt. Because when you go home, they don't recognize you.
Yeah.
They don't see you as someone who is living there. They will know you. That's Lucien, but Lucien is not the same anymore.
Yeah.
It's another Lucien. Will still ask you, when are you going back? They will still every time they will still ask you when are you going back, because they know this is not your place anymore.
Yeah.
And when you are here, you have to find a way of living to be free. For example, in this country, we know that the first thing you recognize that helps you to recognize a Dutch people is the liberty, vrijheid,
Yeah.
is tolerance. You have to tolerate people. And then, if you go back and people are fighting, and you can ask, why do you want to fight? You see Munyamolenga and the other fighting. I say, why? Keep them, let them in peace. I say, oh, what is this? So
It's different.
It's different. It's because you took something from here. Everyone should live
Yeah.
in the way he wants to live. But so this is a struggle you have to face.
Yeah.
So it's to take both.
Yeah, thank you very much. Quite an interesting conversation. So I have one last question for you. Do you believe that the future of culture is universal, as in more cultures will disappear to form one culture, as you can observe, for example, in Western countries now? Like in the Netherlands, for example, you cannot per se say like this is typically the Dutch culture because of that mosaic of cultures, as you said. Do you think that that is the future of cultures?
Look, if you go outside, you will see many people. You will see many faces. You will see many flags. It's because we are not one people.
Yeah.
But we are living in a diversity. We can still be diverse, but respect this diversity. This is the only way. But just we have one culture, it will not be possible.
No, there is not one culture, but at least one trend to have one way of societal organization. Like
there will be a clash.
Yeah.
There will be a clash. You know, we talk about democracy, for example. Democracy in Europe is not democracy in Congo, it's not democracy in Rwanda or democracy in the other part of the world.
Yeah.
When you talk about democracy, you say, oh, this is it. We need this, we need democracy. And then when you go to Congo, when people do elections, say, this is democracy. But here you have to leave democracy.
Yeah.
There is about elections. And the other part is, okay, this is democracy, but the president is just fixing everything.
Yeah.
And you have to follow. So this is our democracy. So you see, it's very complicated to say that there will be one way of living. It will be difficult. There will be a clash.
Yeah.
We are not the same. I think that we have to respect our differences.
It reminds me of a book that I was reading, I think, a few years ago. And the title was One in Diversity. Different but one. That was the title. And it was really interesting. It's talked about families, but at the same time also it can be extended to societies and community in general.
I do have one, l'union fait la force.
Yeah,
this is
the
Belgium.
motto from Belgium, yeah.
This is Belgium. L'union fait la force. They are not only one people. You do have the Wals, you do have the Flams, but they are the Flemish, but they are living together.
Yeah.
They say l'union fait la force. So they respect the differences in order to live.
All right, l'union fait la force. That is how we conclude this episode. Thank you so much, Ewing, for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.